Ashley Adamson, and today we're talking about laziness. I think it's kind of a funny topic because, I mean, what is there to talk about? Laziness. Like, what can you think of? Like, you're just going to be not doing anything, right? And I think there's a lot of guilt that comes packaged with that in the world that we live in where productivity is valued. And we kind of like see this huge social media scroll of just like do the most with your life and do this and do that and do this. And so here I am being productive by making a video talking about being unproductive because that's the only video that I can make today. And I don't know, like, doesn't that feel weird? When you feel like this feeling of, I want to do something, but I just can't. I just don't want to. Do you ever get that feeling? Do you ever feel like there's this part of you that says I should be doing something, but you don't want to do it? And as much as you mentally try to arrive there where you'll actually take action, you can't end up doing it because you just don't want to, right? And this has been this thing where I've been like, all right, Ashley, we're going to make a video this week. We're going to make a video this week. We're going to make a video this week. And it's been like 3 weeks since I've made a video. And I just can't get to it. I can't like lift the finger. And today I would have possibly not made a video as well because I had like this list of all of these topics that I was going to cover. And at the end of the day, I just didn't want to do any of them. Not because I don't think they're good topics. I've written a lot. I mean, Anal Academy is coming. There's a bunch of Anal Academies in the pipeline because I've been having a lot of sex lately. Because I have like a kind of boyfriend. Like we'll see, like I think we're almost like 10 weeks in. So we're kind of approaching that point where I'm like, all right, maybe this is boyfriend-girlfriend territory. But now I'm thinking of a stick. But anyways, yeah, like there's like all this content that I'm gonna make, and Anal Academy is like my most popular video and will probably continue to be. So I'm clearly gonna make more content about that because y'all get value from it. But like for me, like I have to be in the right space to talk about that kind of stuff. And the space that I'm in is I'm in this place where I'm living at home with my family to spend the year to prepare myself for bottom surgery and then that healing process. And, you know, I've been traveling around the world, living in different places, and now I'm just here back at my home place, kind of going inward, like not spending a lot of energy on anything, feeling like I'm in some kind of phase of just take care of yourself. And when it comes to taking care of yourself, the most important thing is kind of like limiting the amount of stuff that you do. You know, do you ever get burnt out or you're just like, you made all these plans and then you go, oh my God, I wish I didn't make all these plans. And you drag your feet to these obligations, or you actually just cancel them, or you flake, you know, like that feeling where you're just like, oh my God, I can't believe I do this. And you end up in this cycle more than once. You know, it's a familiar feeling that you just get into. And maybe that's just kind of like different personality types. I think extroverts probably don't spend any time, like they're trying to spend most of their time not by themselves because there's probably that desire to connect with people. And I mean, my theory is also extroverts could be afraid of being by themselves, right? But anyways, like the part that I'm trying to get to you is finding, like asking yourself this: where is this balance for you where you're allowed to make space for non-productivity, for healing, regeneration, time to take care of yourself so that you can play the long game and get to where you're wanting to go? Social media, personal growth topics, growth mindset, all of that, the common theme is you always got to be working, you always got to be doing something, and if you're not growing, you're shrinking, you're dying. And that, like, I'm a huge personal growth kind of person, but like I'm at odds with that. It feels like it feels like very much a Western concept. And when I've been spending a lot of time just going to sleep and falling asleep to Buddhist Dharma talks. And one of the things that just kind of keeps coming up for me in like listening and like seeing how my values align with this is like there's a non-doing aspect, or you're doing a non-doing aspect to your life, like breathing, and just like your activity is you're just breathing, right? Like that doesn't sound like much. That doesn't sound like doing. That doesn't sound like the personal growth development. You got to be doing this and you got to be doing that. And I mean, if that's what you want to do, please go for it. I'm doing a lot of things too, but I don't know. Like I think trying to operate where you're at 100% capacity is actually the wrong way of doing sustainable living, sustainable life. If you're always at 100% capacity, that battery's just going to go down really quickly and you're not really going to find much space to breathe. We're batteries. We're humans. We're biological humans with our own biological batteries, not like batteries like a regular, cell phone battery or something, right? So like we use energy in ways that isn't predictable, and sometimes you sleep wrong or you eat something or you just have an off day and your energy is not predictable where you can just plug yourself in and charge back up to 100% every single day, right? You ever feel like you wake up and you're like, oh, I have to go to work, or oh my God, I have to do this thing and I just really don't feel like it. Do you know what I mean? So there's clearly this distinction in our human existence as biological beings where we do have probably a sine wave of energy and expression of our hormone balances and what we're eating and what our body's going through. Like showing up consistently is actually a very difficult thing, and it's why we build trust. It's why trust is so important, because consistency shows importance, or shows trust, creates trust. I don't know, like my mind is everywhere, but that's kind of where am I going with this? How am I pulling this together? There's a non-doing lifestyle that's available to you at any second of the day. And you have the right, and it's perfectly valid, to not do all of the things that you've committed yourself to, especially if you've committed yourself to 100% or even more. You can perfectly do a day where you do bare minimum. There's very few days where you have to do nothing, so I'm not going to say nothing, but there's a bare minimum. And there's things that are good for you that you can do, but that's it. Like if I wake up and I'm like, I just don't want to make any plans today, I don't want to do anything, I do have to do my work, and perhaps exercise is just good for me, and I'll eat a salad, and that's my day. I won't make a bunch of phone calls, I won't check off a bunch of things on my to-do list, I won't make a video. Today's my day where I basically just have work for the first half of the day, and then there's no meetings, so I have energy. I also worked out, so like this is kind of the last thing that I'm going to do today, and then of course everything's bonus after that. I think I'm going to play some Counter-Strike because I just came back from Dallas to see IEM Dallas, and that was amazing. Probably most of you don't know about that, so like don't worry about it, but like I'm going to do some stuff, but I'm just going to have fun and kick it and enjoy myself. I don't have to make plans or call people and this and that, and I'm not going to feel guilty or beat myself up about it. I'm just going to enjoy my day. And I'm sure I could do a lot more things. Like I could work on the mobile home projects that I'm working on. I could write another book. I could make more videos. I could call up some friends and meet up with them. I could do this. I could do that. I could get a whole bunch of things on this checklist done. But you know what? My energy threshold needs to be the most important thing that I need to take care of. Stress, all of those things. So keeping that for me right now at this moment, I think I'm going to keep that at 50% for me, 50 to 60%. in terms of energy consumption. What about for you? What works for you where you feel like you're getting enough of the minimum stuff that you need done, and you're also feeling okay with where you are? Like you found your okay threshold, and that's it, you know? And of course, life doesn't mean that you have to be living at an okay threshold every single day. In fact, if you live at an okay threshold for a while, you'll probably have so much more energy accumulated that you can then hit spikes. Like I left on Thursday to go to Dallas. I had an amazing weekend. I went out to DreamHack. I did all of these things. I shot a bunch of machine guns in Texas. You know, you got to do it in Texas. And spent a lot of time with the guy that I'm seeing. And we walked all over the city and had such a good time. And that was like a high spike, high activity energy thing. And now I'm back here just kind of going back in, quiet, taking it easy. I should have hit the gym yesterday, but I didn't because I was like, I just don't have the feeling of the energy. There's this dopamine, serotonin, like chemical aspect to the brain that I think people always forget about. And I think this is a part of this process where we seek out dopamine activities, but if you've saturated yourself with dopamine, there's also a come down, and then it's also harder to do things. So I feel like I had a dopamine deficit yesterday because of all the travel and the adventures that I did, that I just did not feel like doing anything. So what did I do? Well, what would you do? Would you feel guilty about the fact that you haven't done anything, or that you're not doing much and that you should go to the gym? Is guilt going to be the mechanism through which you force yourself to take action and do things? Or is there another path? Is there another thing that you can use as a tool that has a less constrained and less scarcity mindset on your own activities? Like my stepdad's Catholic, and one of the main things that I've learned about Catholics, and he doesn't do this, but just the Catholic culture, is it's a lot of guilt-based behavior. It's a lot of like, oh, like, you know, you've sinned, and gosh, like just being born you've sinned, and everything else you've sinned, and so you should feel guilty, and blah, 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 so then you have to do this, and you have to do that. And it's very easy to get guilt-tripped into, especially by our family and people around us, because it's like such an easy button to press. And especially if you're concerned about your social standing, you're going to get guilt tripped into things, right? Like, how often are you explicitly guilt tripped at this point versus internally guilt tripping yourself for doing things, like as your own control mechanism, right? So we've internalized this guilt pressure, which is something to be aware of, because guilt in a way saps your energy. It saps your joy. And if you're allowing guilt to drive your behaviors, then you're not driving with your soul. You're not driving with who you are. You're driving as almost like a slave, where the ball and chain, the chain and the ball is your guilt, and it's just weighing you down and it's pulling you in a direction rather than you going in the direction where you want to go. So this video, in a way, is also talking about stop guilt tripping yourself. Don't allow yourself to guilt trip yourself. You don't need to when you don't want to do stuff. It's okay to not do stuff, because this is a bigger picture thing about sustaining energy, taking care of yourself, and allowing yourself to just be in your organic biological state, where your resonance and where you're at is just, it's not there where you may want it to be, but that could be a nutrition thing, that could be a sleep thing, that could be like a biochemical thing. If you're playing a lot of video games, if you're social scrolling all the time, the dopamine levels are going to be so low, and not many things are going to trigger dopamine releases because you've recalibrated. So like coming back to center, finding space to do nothing or to just reduce your activities can also be regenerative in your brain, because it'll help reset dopamine detox, hype words, whatever, get you back to a center where you'll feel like you want to do things. I don't know if you get this feeling, but when I go through social media and I'm like doing YouTube shorts or Instagram reels or whatever, you get into kind of like this dopamine seeking behavior where you're just like next one, next one, next one, next one, next one, next one. And before you know it, it's 15, 20 minutes. And then you step away and you feel like you don't want to do anything. And you feel like, man, the world is so boring, right? Because you don't have instant swipe dopamine access. And if you make a decision right after this, after that part, to just go do something to keep getting dopamine, you get stuck in this dopamine lock. And what I do after that is I just stop doing anything. I just sit there for a little bit, stare at the ceiling, just nothing, to allow the dopamine to subside and to not force myself into behavior where I am now seeking more dopamine activities to compensate for the dopamine that I'm losing. Do you know what I mean? So like there's like all these little biological hacks that you can also take to take care of yourself when you want to do nothing, or you're finding yourself struggling with doing nothing. There's the guilt aspect, but the biochemical aspect is more like how you help yourself do nothing to then do something. You know, it's like the yin and yang. To do something, a good amount of doing nothing will actually help you have more energy to do something. The Artist's Way, I don't know if you've read that book, but that's one of the most influential books in creativity and being an artist, is learning that you have to kind of like remove stimulation so that you can then become stimulating, which is pretty amazing. Stimulating. So like here I am talking to you, making some videos about this, and it's like the only thing that I want to talk about because it's coming from where I'm at right now, and where I'm at in life. Like I'm enjoying not doing a lot and really trying to soak that up because I want to be in the best mind state for when my surgery happens in 3 or 4 months, where I'm going to be doing a whole lot of nothing and also just sticking things in my vagina to keep it like, you know, to keep it growing, not to keep it open. You know what I mean? Anyways, I hope you've liked this video today. If you're here by now, please like and subscribe, support the channel. If you want to support me by joining, I would really appreciate that so I can pay an editor to make this video more interesting and more enjoyable. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in another episode soon. Bye.